How did everybody come through on Saturday?
Everybody came through okay, thank you.
Any questionable availability in terms of changes?
No question on any availability. Tiger Smalls won't be available, but he'll probably be available for Saturday. He's the only one at the moment. Probably expect Suleiman, Jelani, Brandon towards the end of the month.
I was going to say, I saw Suleiman in a separate group from Jelani and Brandon. Does that mean one of them's ahead, or one group is ahead, or how does that work in the hierarchy?
Yeah, no, I think the athletic trainers will they'll break them off and they work with them in a different group. So that's how they were working. Suleiman, I think he gets air sickness, so he wanted to miss a few of the away games, but no, he'll be available by the end of the month. You
guys have conceded more shots than anybody except I think one, and I think more shots on target as well. Is that something that you see as a level of concern, or do you feel like you're still okay with the amount of chances that you guys are conceding defensively?
No, because I don't think they're big chances that we're conceding. I can go back to, I think it was San Jose when they had 24 or 25 shots. I think 18 of them were from outside the penalty box. Again, if you look at the strikes that we conceded from, there weren't easy chances. But we were negligent with our defending for their two chances. Other than that, our goalkeeper wasn't worked too much. There was a lot of balls into the box in a 15-minute spell in the first half, which I felt we defended well. So, mistakes led to goals against Columbus last week. But we had the bigger chances in the game and didn't take them.
Does playing Pep higher make it more difficult to take the ball off your opponent?
In what way?
In terms of, from a tackle and interception standpoint, is it harder to create those opportunities to have transition the other way because you have one part of your midfield that's playing a little bit higher?
No, I don't think so, because we've always pretty much played without the ball as a 4-4-2. Last year Bronico played that a lot. Before that, Brecht and Scotty Arfield when he was here. And now Pep's playing in that position as well. So, it's not too dissimilar to what we've always done. I think our level of competency on the ball is better. But I'd like to see us play forward a little bit quicker.
Is there a proper way, or what would you say is the proper way to channel any motivation you might have had, or at least the players might have, from last year's disappointment against Orlando going into this game?
No, there'll be none. That's gone. This is a new season. The lads at the moment, we've done the review of the game this morning. It's to get our results back on track, because we've lost the last 3 league games, but our performances haven't merited that. We've actually probably played better than we were early in the season. I've said earlier we should have beat New England. We created so many chances in that game, and a poor decision has gone against us, in my opinion, that's cost us that game. And then I can honestly stand in front of the players and say, yeah, Columbus were better than us and beat us fair and square, but we should have won the game on Saturday. We handed the game to Nashville with the 2 chances that they had, and didn't take the big chances that we created. So results can go many different ways. There's many reasons for results. What you can control are your performances, and our performances have been better. And that's what I keep speaking to the players about, because that's what they are in control of.
So it's not a situation where there's a sense of urgency. It's more of, if the performances stay at the level you're expecting, the results will eventually come. Definitely,
maths tells you that. Analytics tell you that. If we'd played the New England game again and we played the Nashville game again, we'd win the game. We'd win both the games. That's my belief. That's how I've always been. I think I told you when I went into the playoffs with Aston Villa. That's how I felt that we would beat Derby in that playoff final. how I work, and that's how my brain works. And I know that we would win them games if we played them again.
You had mentioned wanting to play quicker going forward. We saw at times against Nashville, there's some direct play looking to get forward to Abada. Are you looking? Did you want something different? Are you looking for maybe a mix of possession and breaking through the lines with possession going forward?
Yeah, no, there's got to be a mix. You've got to find the balance in the game. I think it was 8 minutes, and the time was there. It was set up for Tim to put a great ball in behind their high line. Patrick makes a great run. He's got no reason to go down. He feels a shove, goes down, and nothing's given. You look at the other chances that we had. We won the ball high. Two quick forward passes, and Wilf gets a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The same for the goal. We force them where we want them. A straight pass. We win it. One quick pass from Brant Brodico into Leal, and he's away. So you've got to find the balance of when to go forward and when not to. There's times that you have to narrow the team up before you go wide, and there's times when you've got to go wide before you come inside. And that's the key decision making that we're working on with the players at the moment.
Okay. Lost my train of thought there. Reeves sliding into the center back role against Nashville. Evaluation of him next to Marshall Reddy. Would you want to move him back into the left role, put Privet back on the pitch? Like, where are you kind of at with all that?
Yeah, I just felt the Columbus game was probably one too many with Tim at left back. We signed Tim as a left-sided centre back. And we're thankful that he's happy to play anywhere to get into the team and help the team, and he has done, and helps us with a run to the playoffs and a run to the top of the table this season as well. So I just felt, getting in Marshall Rutty, it was time to give him a game. I also knew the way that Nashville press, we needed probably a natural left footer for that game. What I do going forward will probably change game to game.
Yeah, you'd even mentioned Reem at times I felt like was stepping up and helping that line stay fairly high and then contributing going forward. What did you feel like that did for even your midfield at times and your attack to stay pressed in that maybe you haven't had when Reem's playing in an outside back role?
I think it just gives you more balance by having a left footer there. I just felt if Privs and Marshall Rutty play there, it's two right footers. You probably cut off a side of the pitch that you can't use because everybody's cutting inside. And again, the way Nashville play, they want you to play inside. That's where their strength is, to come and win the ball back. So I felt that we had to change it for that game.
And then last question about Pep playing higher. I feel like we saw an immediate impact of his defensive presence against Nashville, playing in that 10, helping Pat. How does that help your guys' high press, having him in that 10 role, knowing he's going to kind of lead the charge there?
Yeah, well, we've got triggers, when to press and when not to press. We got it wrong for their goal. We jumped to the centre back too quickly, and he passes it the other side of us to their 6 when we should be sitting on the 6. But their goal was where Pep reads the pass back to the goalkeeper, carries on the press. We cancel out the 6, and Patrick then presses the centre back, and it's the straight ball that we can go. We know we can go and win high and create an opportunity. So it's getting them moments right, and we're starting to get them more right than we do wrong now. So Pep certainly helps that with his knowledge of the game.
Last one, Orlando, 3 goals, but they also conceded 3 goals against New England. So where do you feel like you can find opportunities against their back line tomorrow, knowing that they're yeah?
I haven't looked at them at all yet. I'll be looking at them this afternoon and tomorrow. There's a couple of new signings and a couple of changes from last season. I think we played each other, 5 times? So I know enough about their players, what to expect, because the head coach is still the head coach. So we'll know a lot about each other in terms of how we play. We've got to make sure that it's more like the game we played at home than certainly the first game away.
Okay, how's Kalina's wife doing?
She's okay at the moment. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, still okay. Still no news. So we'll wait on that.
Cool, thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
So, Coach, I wanted to ask Anna asked the second part of my question, so I want to ask or the first part of my question, so I want to ask the second. With Tim, it seems like if you're looking at this from the outside and you don't know as much about soccer, you don't have the experience that you or the coaching staff has. It just seems like the partnership between Malanda and Priv, both being at center back, both being on the pitch at the same time, has yielded more success. Would you disagree with that, or is moving everybody around simply a product of schedule congestion that you're getting in May, or what are your thoughts there?
My thoughts are, for most of the time that Privet and Malanda have played together, they've had a left-footed left-back with them. If we haven't got a left-footed left-back, then we lack balance totally. So, as I said before, Tim's been helping us out by playing at left-back, and he's done it well, and we've built with the three, and we've been successful by doing that. But there's times when I'll want a left-footed centre-back, and Saturday was one of them. And I thought, and I look back at the game and I've reviewed the game as well, I thought we were the better team on the day, created the better chances, had more control on the ball as well, but we gave 2 poor goals away, which Tim's involved in one of them, not involved in the other. But I think it's if people are looking to try and make Tim a scapegoat at the moment, I think they're way off target.
And how important is having that left back connection to provide service to Wilf?
Really important. We need to feed our wide players. You saw it a lot. I thought Nick had a decent game in terms of feeding Liao. I think Liao's looked a lot brighter over the last few games. He was really good when he came on against NCFC, and his link up was better. His direct running was better. Scored a good goal, but that comes from feeding these types of players. We've got to get ball to them early. It's always harder to get the ball to a wide player if you're playing off your opposite foot, which is inside the pitch.
Because of the schedule congestion, obviously you've got the game on Wednesday, game on Saturday, Open Cup, more MLS. Are we going to see a little more rotation and more bench players naturally, or do you think that the squad that's currently fit has the fitness to barrel through this?
It will depend game to game how I see the players, how I see their fitness, whether they look tired, whether they look leggy, and the games that we're going into. I mean, the beauty of it is that, the squad know what I'm after from game to game. I didn't feel we were good when the ball went out of play on Saturday, and that's something that we need to get better at, because they score straight from a throw-in, which is criminal from us, really, allowing a throw-in to go into our penalty box, which you very rarely see in the final third, in our defensive third. So, I'll judge it on how I see them, and, speaking to them, I've got that experience of knowing them anyway.
So I got to get my Dean Smith ratings. From New England, Columbus, NCFC in the most recent game, what are your Dean Smith 0 out of 10s?
What, in terms of the performances?
Yeah.
New England was a 7/8. Columbus was a 5. NCFC was a 7. We were comfortable against them. I'd say it was a 7 against Nashville.
Awesome. Well, I know Willie's itching, so I'll turn it over to him.
No worries.
We'll go to Carol first.
Hey Dean, how are you?
I'm good, Carol. Don't disappoint me and tell me you was here this morning for another press conference and not stayed for me.
I mean, my husband likes to say I'm a delicate flower and I wilt in the rain, so that'll be nice.
I mean that to you as well, Steve. Don't worry when you come next.
I think you were starting to answer my question anyway. It's about Abada, and I'm wondering, when he's going well, what is he doing well, and when things aren't going so great, what does he need to improve on?
I think when he's, it sounds kind of funny, when he's doing well, he kind of doesn't think too much about the game, he just plays. He's one of them players that when he gets space in front of him, go and run with the ball. Make sure you see a pass, get it, give it and go. And I think when he does that, he looks really, really dangerous. And, I think he created the goal in the playoffs at Orlando, with that direct run and the cutback for Carroll. And he's had chances as well. He'll know technically he's got to keep working on his game. He's put the one over the bar from the corner, worked corner that Azza had been working on. And he's gone one-on-one with the goalkeeper as well. I mean, it was a super finish for his goal. And 3 goals in 3 games should give him confidence to keep doing that now.
Great, and I'm wondering, it seems like a lot of your success is coming direct passes vertically. Are you still looking for the connections between the wingers and Pat, or is that just maybe not y'all's strength?
Yeah, no, I think the connection is, making sure that we're making good deep runs. As I said, that first one we made after 8 minutes. I watched Liverpool yesterday. The first 30 minutes, they were unstoppable with the amount of forward runs that their front 3 were making. And if you're playing in front of teams, centre backs are happy. When you're making runs in behind them, like Patrick's good at doing, like Leal's good at doing, that's when you hurt the opposition. So, we've got 2 creative talents in Wilf and Pep. We just need to make sure that we're making enough good runs in behind.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Go to Steve.
Hi, Dean. No one's ever called me a delicate flower. Statistically, I was looking at it prior to the Nashville game, and Charlotte seems to be one of the teams that has the fewest shots from distance. Most of those, I think it was like 13-yard average or something that was very much inside the box. Is that by design, or do your players have the green light to give it a whack if they see it?
They have the amber light to give it a whack when they see it. I'm not particularly big on shots from 25, 30 yards. They go in every now and again, and statistically, in an XG point of view, they'll probably be 0.01% chance of scoring. So I would rather have bigger chances like we created with Wilf and Leal and Patrick in the first minute of the second half on Saturday, because they're the chances you tend to score. You've got better chance of scoring anyway. So I'm not a big fan of too many 25, 30-yard shots. I'd rather us work the ball around the edge of the box and draw somebody out to play somebody in.
But isn't it good, as part of that process of trying to draw people out, isn't it good to take a few shots from distance here and there just to, keep the defense, on their toes about that?
Well, the opportunity there needs to put them on the counter-attack and turn the ball over as well. I think when you get in around the opposition penalty box, it's, to work it. Listen, if you've got a clear shot, not a problem. But if you're hitting a ball into a player, then there's no point in it.
And if you can hit a ball in with pace too, that a keeper might fumble or something, it does create the closer opportunity on the rebound.
Yeah, but you've got to get it through to the keeper first. I mean, you look at Nashville on Saturday. They've tried a number of shots from outside the box and not got through to the goalkeeper. And the ones that they had a quick counter from a throw-in after about 12 minutes. A shot from an angle which was easily saved by the goalkeeper. Mukhtar's had a chance from the edge of the box where he's tried to curl it. Goalkeepers had the chance to just dive and catch it quite easily. They're not big chances for me, and the game's about creating big chances.
Great. And next, as far as you were talking a lot recently about natural left-footed players and things like that, do you have players on the squad that you think are equally good with both feet?
With both feet, there's a couple of players who are decent with their left foot and right foot. Marshall Rutt is one of them who's just come in. Pribs is decent with both feet. Melander's not bad. West is decent with both feet. So we've got quite a few.
And would you trust him in a natural righty, but good with the left? In that on the left side.
Well, sometimes you have to. Yeah. I mean, there's no point me not trusting the players if I feel they're good enough.
Okay. And then lastly, it's just with so many games in such a short period, with 2, 3, 4 days between, a full rest between, how much is the responsibility of the players and how much is the club through the physios and nutritionists and other support staff helping to prepare for this, marathon?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a really, really good performance team here, headed up by John Curry, and the routines that they're going through with the players, whether it's the nutrition and what they eat, when they sleep, recovering from journeys. For instance, Wednesday we'll come back from Orlando and we'll come straight back here and do a regen session. The lads who haven't played, they'll work hard in the gym, and then they'll have the rest of Thursday off and return Friday ready to get ready for the Chicago game.
And what are some of the major aspects of these regen sessions?
Well, for the players who haven't started, it's to make sure we get their heart rates up, get a sweat on, make sure they've done something and they're ready for the Saturday. But the other side of it is for the ones who've just played a game, just got off a plane, is to get some soft tissue massage, some ice baths, and mainly recovery. So get the recovery into the ones who've played and get some work into the ones who haven't.
Do many of the players or any of them use compression sleeves?
Yeah, we've got in our gym, we've got performance tights in there, performance blow up ones, the compressions, to help with all the recovery side of it. We're pretty high tech here, but I can't tell you what they're all called.
Yeah, no, but in my experience covering the NBA, a lot of them, with their constant travel and sometimes having back-to-back games and things like that, we're wearing compression, full-length pants on flights, or the blow up the air-filled compression sleeves.
Yeah, the lads are using them. We've got plunge pools as well here, so when we get back on Wednesday night, they get straight in the plunge pool as well. So, but the best thing for recovery is sleep, and that's why in my experience, you get back from a game of a night, and then you send them home and have them in at 12 o'clock, for instance. They don't get much sleep. So they don't get much recovery. So I would prefer to do it after the game, for an hour at the training ground, send them home at 3:30 in the morning, and then they get the rest and feel like they've had a full recovery by doing it that way.
Great, thank you.
No worries, thank you.
We'll wrap up with Willie.
Just about Pep, I know you said you knew going in you probably were only going to get about 65 minutes. Does it make it tougher with match congestion to get him back to 90, knowing there's not as much recovery time?
No, I mean, he's come through 65 minutes fine. He was annoyed at coming off as well, which I like. I don't like anybody who comes off the pitch and is happy to come off the pitch. He was unhappy, but it was my decision to bring him off. It was a risk to start him. I thought it would have been more of a risk to bring him off the bench without a proper warm-up, but he played 65 minutes and played 65 minutes comfortably, so I've no doubts that he could go 90 minutes now.
Are you comforted more by the fact that you got a big chance out of Zaha early, or more disappointed that he didn't take it?
I'm disappointed for him, because I know how much it means to him. There's a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure when you come in as a DP, and that's, I don't treat him as a DP, I treat him as one of my players, because that's what he is. But unfortunately for him, he will get treated as a DP, because that's how this league works. So, we want to see him score, but I saw a really good reaction from him on Saturday. I thought he worked extremely hard without the ball, got into good positions, won 7 fouls, which is probably the norm now this season.
And Liel, it seems like, no secret, he's best on the run, he's best running in behind. Are you working with him to make take-ons a part of his game, just so he has something else in his toolbox? Or is it something where that's kind of where you want to focus on?
No, I think he's got better at his movements. I thought there was a couple of movements on Saturday which was nice to see, because it's been stuff we've been working on. He came short, banged one round the corner, and I think Levitt's got yellow carded. That might have been actually the skill one. That was where he done the drag back and was away from him the other side. I keep telling him, when he faces players up, I'm happy for him to go and have a run at them, because I think that's when he puts players on the back foot.
Last one from Sam.
So really quick on Zaha, you know, you've said earlier that he was going to need a period to adjust to the league. Like, if you feel like that period's over, is he adjusted or is he still working it out?
No, I think he's fully fit now. That's what we wanted him to get to, and I think his performances are getting better. You know, but ultimately he gets judged on goals and assists, and you know he missed a chance on Saturday. Goalkeeper's made a good save. You know, so very easily could have gone in on another day. So, but he makes good decisions on the ball. You know, and draws lots of fouls. You know, and he'll get better.
Thanks, Coach.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.